We'll call the meeting to order. Councilman Reyna, would you lead us in the invocation, please? I do. I'd like to pray for the Stevens family, District 5 on East Loyola, for the loss that they suffered in a tragic fire. I guess it was a week ago or so. There was some rescue efforts by the neighbors in an attempt to save her life, but unfortunately, they were unsuccessful. And the Kenner Fire Department, who was on the spot, Johnny on the spot, very quickly. Thank you for their valiant efforts. But unfortunately, there was a loss at that address. So we pray for that family and the neighborhood around it. Thank you.
Just want to mention, because I haven't yet found it in the obituaries, but a resident of District 2, Mr. Roosevelt Lee, who was a bus driver for many years, his family had notified me that he passed away. But again, it hasn't showed up in the obituary, so I don't know what the issue on that arrangements are. But anyway, he was a bus driver for the school system for many years, as well as a resident of Kenner, so certainly want to include him in our prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us bow our heads and remember that we are in the presence of the Lord. God of all blessings, source of all life, giver of all grace, we thank you for the gift of a life, for the breath that sustains life, for the food on this earth that nurtures life, for the love of family and friends without which there would be no life. We thank you for setting us in communities, for families who nurture our becoming, for friends who love us by choice, for companions at work who share our burdens and daily tasks, for strangers who welcome us into their midst, for people from other lands who call us to grow in understanding, for children who lighten our moments with delight, for the unborn who offer us hope for the future. We thank you for this day, for life, and for one more day to love, for the opportunity, and one more day to work for justice and peace, for neighbors, and one more person to love, and by whom be loved, for grace, and one more experience of your presence, for your promise to be with us, to be our God, and to give us salvation. For these and all the blessings, we give you thanks, eternal, loving God, through Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Councilman Klein, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum this evening. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones, pagers, beepers, and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Under the consent agenda this evening, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council
Madam
meeting.
Clerk, if I may interrupt, I think we're all marked absent. I know I am. Thank you. I'm good. Everyone good? All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Item 1 is approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of September 1st, 2016. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 1966-16, Divine Mercy Catholic Parish Seafood Festival to hold a public gathering on October 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2016, for the purpose of an annual school church festival at 4337 Salentini Parkway in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3B is application number 1967-16, Stephanie Scaruffi to hold a public gathering on October 29, 2016, from 6:30 to 7:30 for the purpose of a wedding ceremony at LaSalle's Landing in Rivertown, Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3C is application number 1970-16, Big Easy Mopar Association to hold a public gathering on March 18, 2017, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the purpose of a car show for Children's Hospital in Laketown, Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3D is application number 1972-16, Bertrell Bailey to hold a public gathering on October 15, 2016, from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. for the purpose of a family picnic at Rosemary Minor Park at 500 Taylor Street. That will conclude your consent agenda this evening.
Motion by Councilman Brennan, seconded by Councilman DeFrances. Councilman, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 9 is public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding resolution calling a public hearing on September 15, 2016 to determine whether the structures located at 2617, 2619 Fayette Street in Kenner, Louisiana shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal. We have a request to remove the item tonight from the Code Enforcement Department.
We do. Motion by Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilman DeFrances to indefinitely defer item 9A. Seeing no discussion, Councilman, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 9B is a public hearing regarding a resolution calling a public hearing on September 15, 2016 to determine whether the structures located at 400 Hanson Avenue, Kenner, Louisiana shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilman Brennan to open public hearing. Councilman, please vote to open public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-0.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we are in the public appearance part of the agenda. If there's anyone wishing to be heard, wishing to address the council on item 9B, please come forward at this time, and this is your opportunity to be heard.
I believe that the Code Enforcement Department has a
We'll do the
presentation.
presentation for us, that's fine.
The structure, it's a one-story, single-family elevated structure on pilasters bearing the municipal address of 400 Hanson Avenue. Property is owned by Miss Betty Lomax. On March 24th, 2016, it was determined that the building violated codes for the city of violated building codes for the city of Kenner, as well as Section 5-57 at all of the Code of Ordinances for the city of Kenner. On May 18, 2016, a notice was sent certified mail to the property owner advising her of the building and property violations. A notice was sent to the above referenced address, 400 Hanson Avenue, as well as other addresses found via search engines. After certified mail was returned unclaimed and being unable to locate the property owner, curator was appointed by the mayor, and that's Miss Sophie Rosado, who's here. As of this date, violations have not been corrected, nor does it appear that there have been any attempts to correct the violations or comply. As of this date, the owner currently owes an amount of $3,000 to the city of Kenner for taxes and previous liens. The city contacted the services of an engineer, and it is noted by his report, the engineer retained by the city, who provided the following reasons of inadequate maintenance, dilapidation, and abandonment of the property. Said that the edge of the roof sheathing shows rot, majority of the windows and doors have not been boarded up, number of windows are broken, sections of the exterior siding have fallen off. There's also an accessory structure at the rear of the property that is partially collapsed and is a obvious safety hazard. Parts of the structure are precariously hanging and are ready to fall down. Copious amounts of debris are surrounding the collapsed accessory building and the structure itself. Based on the report of the engineer, the structure at the front of the property is a serious public safety hazard, and he recommends that the city take steps to declare it a public nuisance and have it abated by demolition or brought up to current city codes and ordinances. The remaining portion of the accessory building in the back is in imminent danger of collapse, and he recommends that the city take steps to declare that structure also a public nuisance and have it abated by demolition.
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Rosado, would you like to come forward?
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Sophie Rosado of the Rosado Law Firm. I was appointed as the curator to locate Miss Betty Lomax. I ran an internet background search on Intellius for her. On June 28, 2016, I mailed 2 letters to the addresses provided by that search. Of those 2 letters, both were returned unclaimed. A copy of all of the returned letters are included in my curator exhibits. On June 28th of 2016, I called all of the numbers on those reports for the defendant, to which I was not able to leave a message at any of the numbers, as either the number rang until it was disconnected with no voicemail capabilities, the number was changed to a non-published number, or it was a wrong number or disconnected number. Mennonite letters were sent by the City of Kenner to Ms. Lomax, Central Properties, B.M.O. Harris, Parish of Jefferson, and Jacob Berthelot on May 18th of 2016. A copy of those letters with returned letters, certified receipt slips are included in my curator exhibits as well. Not convinced the named defendant had been found, I ran an internet ad in the Times-Picayune, which ran on July 31st, August 3rd, and August 5th of 2016, and have not heard from anyone regarding the ad, nor from any of the phone calls. Those are the steps I took to locate the named defendant, and my search is concluded.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the public wishing to be heard on item 9B? Seeing none, motion by Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilman Brennan to close public hearing. Councilman, please vote on the closing of public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-0.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilman Brennan to approve item 9B. Councilman Carroll, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to thank Ms. Rosado for her hard work on this, as always, and the code department for their hard work. And, you know, we never want to give someone's personal property where they had lifelong memories away without first doing our due diligence. And Mr. Pettit, I just want to make sure that as we go forward, no one was here today from the family or extended family, to make sure that we give them the time allotted by law, just in case someone is finding about it late and after they may see this meeting. So as long as we do that and they get that time that they're needed, you know, we are doing our job up here. And you know, but the main goal is to ensure the safety and the ambiance of the neighborhoods, and we look forward to making Kenner to look as pristine as any district, any city in the state of Louisiana. So we go forward with that. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. President.
Seeing no further discussion, motion by Councilman Carroll, seconded by Councilman Brennan to approve item 9B. Councilman, please vote. Is one still out?
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution approving the expenditure of funds in the amount of $133,000 received from the sale of city-owned movable property for the construction of a new Hispanic Resource Center in Kenner Council District 3 in accordance with ordinance numbers 10,834 and 10,915.
Motion by Councilman Reno, seconded by Councilman DeFrances. Councilman Reno? Okay. Anyone? I'm going to just say one thing. I'm very pleased to see this, because this is the conclusion of several months of negotiation and work, and working in concert among the council. And I'm very happy to see that we're able to satisfy not only this need, but the other needs we were able to serve from that money. And I think that shows a unanimous effort towards improving the city of Kenner as a whole, and not looking at it district by district, territory by territory. And so I want to commend our council in that effort, and I think this is a good step in that direction as well. Councilman Francis, you have the floor. I gave it to you. You took it up. I'll give it to you.
It
Hold on.
disappeared.
Relax.
Now we got it back.
All right.
I just want to thank the council members for supporting this resolution. Again, thank you for your kind words, Councilman Impastato. And we're keeping our word to the people of the Hispanic Resource Center, which we've given for so long. So thank you to everyone concerned, and the administration as well, for working together.
Motion by Councilman, seeing no further discussion, motion by Councilman Reno, seconded by Councilman DeFrances to approve item 13A. Councilman, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 12,125. An ordinance authorizing 3 service agreements with Level 3 Communications LLC to provide the City of Kenner with the internet, telephone lines, long-distance, and related telecommunication connectivity services for a term of 3 years for the Department of Information Technology and Telecommunications.
Motion by Councilman Klein, seconded by Councilman Reno. Seeing no discussion, Councilman, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 12,126, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Crescent Decal Specialist Incorporated for an annual contract to supply 50,000 brake tags at a cost of $16,058.00 per year as per letter bid number L16-1553 for the Motor Vehicle Inspection Station and Inspection and Code Enforcement Department.
Motion by Councilman DeFrancis, seconded by Councilman Carroll. Seeing no discussion, Councilman, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 15C is a resolution authorizing a cooperative endeavor agreement with Community Visions Unlimited, a 501c3 nonprofit, to provide artistic services in the beautification and enhancement of electrical boxes throughout the city of Kenner.
Motion by Councilman Reno, seconded by Councilman DeFrancis. Councilman Reno, we have a request from the administration to do a presentation. Is that okay?
Mr. Chairman, we also have a request too, if you want to entertain it now, I'm not sure, to amend the item. It's a simple, we will amend the caption and section 1 to delete electrical and replace it with utility.
Let's do that after the presentations.
Sounds good.
Mr. Quigley, you have the
Yeah.
floor.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Mike Ince from our planning department and Ms. Jeannie Tidy from the Community Visions Unlimited to come up and give the council a presentation on the proposal that you have in front of you tonight.
Good evening. How are you all? Well, I just wanted to say that Mike has a lot of vision and a lot of energy like I do, so I appreciate people like that. And when I started this project, my goal was to get all the utility boxes, and it still is, in Louisiana done by artists that are local to the area. So moving to this area, he said, why can't we get you to come out here and do some boxes? I said, absolutely we can. So that's what we're working on, and we have approval for 2 boxes that we have gotten funding for through Oshner, and I'll just tell you a little bit about the process so that you all will have an understanding of the program. We set it up to give priority to the local artist who may live in the neighborhood. Now, it isn't always possible, but we try to give them first priority towards doing rendering. But they have to go to the website, they have to fill out all the forms, send it in to get on our list. And they don't have to necessarily get approved for a box, but in order to get on the list so that they'll know boxes that are coming up. We work very hard with the associations to do the type of artwork in the neighborhoods that they want to see. So whether it's working with Mike or other neighborhood associations, they decide what type of artwork. So the artwork you see on the boxes is actually indicative of what the neighborhood wanted. And when we started in Lakeview, they didn't want anything but camouflage. So all the boxes in Lakeview are whatever the vision is from that side of the box is what you actually see. And that is the artist interpretation. Then other neighborhoods, now I brought this to show you all because once a year, to help us raise more money to keep going and do boxes, we do, this is our big fundraiser. And all the artists who have done big boxes over the past year do these little mini boxes that we then auction off to raise money to use the money for neighborhoods that don't have resources. So we go into neighborhoods that don't have a lot of resources, and that's the money that we use for those areas. But as long as they have businesses in the area or people that are really want to get the boxes done. And I really have. We have gotten envelopes with 45 checks in it from a neighborhood that wanted one particular box done. So that's how it works. Once the artist sends me all their information, then the rendering, we send out an RFP and say, this is a box that's available, this is what they'd like to see on the box. And then the artist sends it back to me. But the committee, which is made up of 3 arts professional people and 1 representative from the neighborhood, which I guess would be Mike or whoever they decide, and I send just the artwork to them. So they don't know anything about the person or who did it. It's a total blind, fair submission. So I think it's really a great way to be able to, we did it that way so that it would be fair and nobody could say, oh, you gave so-and-so. Or somebody could come to us and say, oh, my sister-in-law, I didn't want to get into that. So we did it this way to make it fair for all the artists. And we do pay the artists. We furnish them with a paint kit, and we have volunteers who go out and clean and prime all the boxes before they put artwork on it. And we've only had 1 tagging incident recently, but other than that, they have stayed up and they look great. And they really do improve the neighborhoods. And I can tell you, not only do they improve the neighborhood, they stop litter around the boxes that have been done. You rarely, and I'll give you a good example. Jefferson Davis Parkway was one of the worst areas when we did the boxes on that area. And now I drive down it and I'm so happy because there is no litter out there anymore. It's like I don't know, people don't want to throw trash by something that looks so nice. So it's rare that you see litter by any of the boxes that have been artistically enhanced. And in addition, 2 of the boxes we did about, I guess, a year and a half ago that are in Gerttown had no resources. We just took it upon ourselves. They now have a development of houses going in there. And I swear to you, I really believe the boxes had an impact because it looks so much nicer there now than it did at the time before we did them. So I think they're an economic thing, both for the artists. Almost every one of our artists, which we have over 50 artists now, has received commission work through restaurants and people wanting murals. And so it's an economic engine as well, and they spend money. Most artists, I don't know if y'all know this, but for every $1 they make, they usually spend $1. They don't save their money. So they're a good economy for our little economic development. They really are, and it's really helped all of them. They've all told me how much it's helped them and got them more work. And that was the whole idea behind it, was to help the neighborhoods, but also help our local artists get work here. And they do. That's the rules on the website. You have to be a local person. You have to show that you live in the general greater New Orleans area. And that's pretty much it. We don't care if they're professionally trained. I mean, a lot of them call me and they get worried. I said, no, we have a lot of folk artists and other people who trained themselves, and they do beautiful work. So that's not a criteria for us. And I hope if y'all have any questions.
I know I do. A few questions, and if you answered them in your presentation, I apologize if I missed
It's
it.
okay.
First of all, is there any cost to the city of Kenner for the project?
No, we raise all the money ourselves.
How how is it funded? I mean, how are these? How is
Each
it-
box costs $750. We usually get sponsors for the boxes. As I said,
And so there's like an identification of.
no.
No?
We don't
Okay.
allow any commercialization of the boxes. It's strictly artwork. Now, what we will do, and it is a nod to someone, like Children's Hospital wanted to done, so the boxes that we did for them have children on it. But other than that, there is no logo. We don't allow that because we felt like that was just getting into a whole nother sea of worms.
How do you identify what boxes are to be done, or how would that information get to you?
Well, Mike has a list.
Okay.
And we had a list from the city of New Orleans, and as we go into the neighborhood, we never do boxes in an area that we have not been invited. So usually we go out, do a presentation, pass around our book, which has all the boxes in it, and explain to them, just like I'm explaining to you all, how it works and how the artists apply, et cetera, et cetera. And if they have a particular box, like this woman uptown, she said, I hate this box, it's horrible, it's graffitied, and she wanted it done, and she went around the neighborhood, and she was one that sent me 35 checks in the mail.
So all the requests would come from the city department?
Well,
We've identified boxes, and then we'll do it on a case-by-case basis if it's in the neighborhood to check and see.
That's what I mean. So a neighborhood or a council person would not be contacting you guys directly. That would all run through,
Mike,
okay, okay.
just to make it easier, you know,
Okay.
simplify.
And so in determining, so if we wanted to identify boxes in a particular district, we would go through Mr. Ince, okay? And then,
And we really do have to raise the money
What-
before we can do them.
I understand, are there particular types of boxes, like for a particular utility, or?
Well, in New Orleans, we're only allowed to paint the signal light boxes. Now, when I did this project in San Diego, they let us paint everything. We were allowed to paint AT&T, giant electrical boxes. We were allowed to paint everything. So it just depends on the city itself and what kind of relationship they have with those people. I mean, I think all of them are hideous. I think they all should be painted.
All right. Thank you. I see you have some definite other questions from others. Councilman Reno, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. The public is going to have input if a box is in a neighborhood that you're going to do. We would definitely have public input as to what's painted on that box, correct? Yes. Okay. Well, sounds like a good project. Thank you. Thank you.
We're usually invited, and I'll just explain a little bit more, like I explained Lakeview. For instance, these are examples of Gentilly. Gentilly wanted all flora and fauna, so it's all birds, butterflies, giant flowers, you know, it's all flora and fauna. But each neighborhood has a particular cultural event. We really try to honor that, and as we did with the Mardi Gras Indians, because they lived in this one particular area, so we did a whole group of the Mardi Gras Indians to honor that culture. And I know there are things like that out here that Mike is very aware of, that we can do that as well.
Councilman Carroll, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you again for coming today. Thank you, Mr. Ince. On the fourth whereas on 15C, it says eligible have to be a set of boxes that are owned by the city of Kenner, or I was always under the impression we didn't own the boxes, that other entities own the boxes. We do own some boxes.
I think you own all the signal light boxes.
We own all the signal light
I know that's
boxes.
what it is in New Orleans. That's why I said the only ones that, Energy owns their own boxes, and AT&T owns theirs, and I think Cox has theirs, but the signal light boxes where all the red lights are owned by the city.
Okay, and those are the boxes initially that we are going
Yes.
to
Let's just
identify.
clarify that on the roadways that we own. Now, Williams Boulevard is a state route, and we don't own those, so those would not be eligible. So it'd only be the signal lights that the city owns on the city thoroughfares.
Thank you for that clarification, and I'm glad because, I'm glad we distinguish between the two. And as it relates to the boxes that the neighborhoods would identify as the ones they would want to, they would fill out the application, let you know, as the neighborhood would agree on a particular design.
Well, usually what we do is make a presentation first and talk to them, explaining the process of how it works. And then we get their feedback of what they would like to see on the boxes. And then, at that point, we put out an RFP to the artists to send in renderings of the type of artwork that they've requested.
Okay. Mr. Ince, excuse me.
Go
Mr. Ince, if we have our own art council, have they been notified that this is something going in? We always want to get them involved because they've been real helpful.
They're going to be a part of the review process with me.
Okay, and another thing is, particularly in District 1, which is the most historic part of the city, we have our historic district, which there in turns are other rules and things we can and cannot do. So when we paint something, we have to make sure that it's part of the overall historical committee's approval and all that, besides just the resident wanting to put
Yeah.
something in. And obviously, when we meet with them, that will be explained to them also.
Okay, we
As is-
take that into consideration, and for instance, this box is a replica of what's around it on Decatur and Esplanade. It is in a historic district. So in districts like that, we really try to make them kind of mirror what's around them, if it's beautiful old buildings, depending on what it is. But you can see from this, and I can tell you the box is beautiful. It's really a beautiful box down there. So a lot of them are done that way in the historic districts. We have another one on Magazine Street that looks just like the buildings. I mean, it kind of blends in and camouflages. And then some of the neighborhoods, like when I worked in San Diego, we had a neighborhood that had the largest arts and crafts houses in America. And all of their boxes, they wanted to look like the houses. So they were all just little miniature versions of all the little houses in the neighborhood. So that can certainly be done, you know, and artists are very, very creative, so they can come up with great ideas.
Right, and, you know, because the way the city is, District 1 is kind of gerrymandered as, not as contiguous as the other parts of the city, so, and able to not have to be all over the place for District 1, if I notify you, or you can set up this meeting, and we'll invite from all
All
over
of
the
'em.
district, so everybody will be getting the same information, as opposed to trying to go from the river all the way to, you know, across Veterans Highway. I think that'd be a whole lot easier. And I'll notify Mr. Ince, and he'll notify you about setting that meeting up
Okay,
for the
that
residents.
sounds good.
And, okay, this is something, you know, whenever we can make something look better, look prettier, I think most people are in for that. And it's good to know that our own Arts Council are playing a big role in it, because they want to be part of what we do, not only in Rivertown, but throughout the whole city. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Dance. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman DeFrancis, you have the floor.
Thank you. I was very happy to see this on the agenda. I have a question. I noticed we used the word utility boxes.
Yeah.
And I want to touch on that for a reason. Have you done any electrical boxes at all? Not locally, I'm sure. Anywhere else in the country?
Yeah, in San Diego.
I
they
thought you
let us
said that
do
in
all
San
of
Diego.
them. We did AT&T,
Right.
Energy. Well, it's not energy out there, it's something else.
Right. I thought you had mentioned that you had
But
done electrical boxes
The council out there
in
just said, we
San
want them
Diego.
done, and they got them all done, so.
The reason I bring this up, it's kind of interesting, especially to me. I've been contacted maybe 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, by Mrs. Ashton Ryan, who had been in Lakeview as I had been, and had noticed the boxes. But at that time, we thought they were electrical boxes. We didn't realize they were signal light boxes. And so what I did was I called Entergy. And they said, no, we have nothing to do with that. We're not interested in that. We have nothing to do with that. And at that point, we were trying to find out maybe, you know, who was involved with that. And we hadn't been able to do so at that point in time. So it's very interesting to me that 6 months later, this just happens to come out in working together with Mike Ince, something that, you know, so many people, even in the northern part of the city, were very interested in making happen. So we're delighted to have you here. And we're delighted to work, at least I am, working with you, and I would assume the rest of the council. And anything that beautifies our city makes our city that much better. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Councilman Klein, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I understand that each box has to be approved by a panel of artists with community vision. Tell me about the panel.
Well, one is Jean Maneri, who I've known forever and was involved with the Arts Council in New Orleans for a long, long time. Another one is Doug Mayo, who's an architect, a local architect. And the third person is a member of our board who's an arts background. So that's pretty much what they are. And then we'll have one representative from the neighborhood who sits on that. But as I tell people, it's really, what's really been good about this is coordinating it with them to find out what type of artwork, because to just go out there and send an RFP out to the artist is not fair to them because it wastes their time. And then a lot of times, they don't know what they want. So I usually tell the neighborhood, you need to think about the things that you'd like to see on the box. And they do come up with things. I mean, like recently, we're doing a bunch of them in Algiers, and they said, well, we'd like cypress trees and fleur-de-lis, and they had specific things. So I just send out a thing to the artist and saying, these are things that they would like to see on this box, and they do their magic, and the person that, you know, does what best mirrors what the public in that area wants is the person who gets the job. That's kind of how it works. And we never get more than 2 submissions. It's rare that we get more than 2 submissions for a box, because it's not that much money.
You mean
and
back
it's a
from-
lot of work.
Excuse me, you mean back from the artist?
Yes.
I got you.
So usually there may be 2, we've only had, the most interest are the musician boxes, and we might have 2 or 3 artists who will apply for those. But most of the time, we're lucky to get 2 submissions. So
Right.
I usually try to work with the artist if the committee overall likes it, and let's say the neighborhood says, well, it's not exactly what they want, I tell them, well, you can't just turn it down because of that. You have to tell me what it is you don't like about it and what it is you like. And then I get the artist to try to fix it.
All right, and in Rivertown, the Rivertown Arts Council has to just not review it, but approve it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and I understand this process.
Mike is going to be our go-to, and I'll just send the artwork to him once it comes through, and he'll get it along with the other people.
All right, and then the mayor has the final word, whether he approves it or not?
Well,
Is that right?
I think y'all are putting
Thank
a lot of, too many layers, but it's okay.
Thank you.
All
It's
right.
going to slow it down
All
a
right.
lot.
All right. Councilman Reno, before he leaves, I wanted to have an opportunity to open on this item. So, Councilman Reno, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for putting this up. I personally had some residents, at least one, that said that they would really like to see this in Kenner, so I'm glad that you all brought this out. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, before we move on, if we could, please,
Let's do
a
the-
simple vote to amend. We want to amend the caption from electrical to utility and section 1 from electrical to utility. So a vote on the amendment first would be good.
Motion by Councilman Reno, seconded by Councilman DeFrances on the amendment. Seeing no discussion, Councilman, please vote on the amendment.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-0 to amend. And now on the original motion, please.
Motion by Councilman Reno, seconded by Councilman DeFrances. Seeing no discussion, Councilman, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from DKI Office Solutions in the amount of $7,091.70 for the purchase of council chamber chairs per specifications contained in telephone bid number T-16-2446. Item 16B is an ordinance amending Chapter 15, Article 2, Section 15-23 of the Kenner Code of Ordinances by the addition thereto and the establishment of one-way signs on 4th Street from Minor Street to Williams Boulevard between the hours of 8 a.m. to 8:20 a.m. and 3 p.m. to 3:20 p.m. for the Kenner Discovery Health Sciences Academy Elementary School and Rivertown campus. Item 16C is an ordinance to amend ordinance number 11,066 to revise the functions of the Department of Emergency Management to include policy development and management guidance to the Kenner Fire Department and related matters. Item 16D is an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Vacuum Truck Sales and Service, LLC, in the amount of $97,400 for the removal of existing equipment from the City of Kenner's existing van and furnish and install one new CCTV camera equipment package in accordance with seal bid number 16-6358 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16E is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of automotive parts from Genuine Parts Company doing business as Napa on an as-needed basis in accordance with Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office bid number 16F2301 and an amount not to exceed $150,000 annually for the Department of Fleet Management. Item 16F is an ordinance approving the utilization of Jefferson Parish contract number 55-15893 with 3M Company for the purchase of reflective sheeting on an as-needed basis and an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually for the Department of Public Works. Item 16G is an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Old Master and Son Incorporated, doing business as Shutter Up, in the amount of $387,650 for the purchase and installation of roll-down shutters and Safe Escape window screens for the City of Kenner Police Department Complex Administration Building in accordance with seal bid number 16-6359. Item 16H is an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Rhino Shield Gulf South LLC in the amount of $24,910 to furnish and install ceramic roof coating or equal for the Kenner Pavilion in accordance with seal bid number 16-6318 for the Department of Parks and Recreation. Item 17 is reports from the council and our special committees. At this time, the clerk of council would like to read an announcement into the record.
Please do.
The City of Kenner intends to vote on a resolution to authorize the calling of a special election for the renewal of a special tax in the City of Kenner, State of Louisiana, specifically the renewal of the levy and collection of a tax of 5 59/100 mills on all property subject to taxation in the city for a period of 10 years, beginning with the year 2018, for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, improving, and maintaining public streets in the city. The City of Kenner Council will vote on this resolution at the council meeting to be held on Thursday, October 20th, 2016, beginning at 5 p.m. in the council chambers in the City Hall building located at 1801 Williams Boulevard in Kenner, Louisiana. The tentative date for this election is Saturday, March 25th, 2017.
Thank you. Any reports from the council? Councilman Francis, you have the floor.
Thank you. I just want to bring our fire chief up for just a moment, if he doesn't mind. I believe we had a rescue on the lake recently.
Yes, we did.
I thought it was something positive that we wanted to share with the community.
I don't really have any details on it. I was out there briefly. We were notified, I think, twice that morning. I'd have to look at, see what the date was. We had some boaters, I think it was 3 people on board a boat. The boat had broke down. And when they went out, the water was fairly calm. They were in a small boat. The seas got rough. I think it was like 2.5, 3 foot seas. So they're having a difficult time getting back. KPD launched a boat, we launched a boat, and we were able to get them back in.
And again, and that was the second incident. If I remember correctly, the first one, both capsized, although the 2 gentlemen in the boat were able to swim to shore, we had to tow the boat back.
The reports weren't 100% accurate, but it was the same incident. It dragged on for a period of time, and we were getting updates, but we did finally make it out there, and our boat is fairly small. But we were able to stay close to shore and get out there and bring them in.
Well, anytime we can save anyone's life, I think that's a positive. And so I wanted to thank the fire department and the police department, because I know they were both involved for the rescue mission.
Right, and the guys that were involved in the rescue, they had undergone swiftwater boat rescue training, so they were actually trained to do this. They weren't just guys going out for a ride in a boat. So,
Thank you, Chief.
Give your mic back, Maria, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Your mic back. Thanks. Councilman Carroll, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. And my information on it's not so much of a report. It's just an opportunity to share some information with everyone on the council, administration, and the audience, and particularly from the residents in the District 1 area, particularly the residents that live in the historic Rivertown area. This is for them to let them know that, they have called my office addressing some concerns that they have and some concerns that they should have. And it's related to the, as we all know, we approve we welcomed in the Kenner Discovery Academy in the Rivertown area. And I think this is something that is good for the city of Kenner. But like everything, when something is brought in new, there are obstacles, there are challenges that sometimes you don't address up front, and it poses some challenges that you have to address, and I am doing that right now. I also like to give a full disclosure. This is where I lived. This is where I live. This is where I grew up. I went to Ireland Perpetual Health School for 9 years. So this is home for me. So I want them to know that not only as a councilman, but as someone who lives in the area, this is a concern that I must have and I must address as it relates to everyone in our district and in the area. You know, the school is, like I said, great. I think I have spoke with the police chief. I spoke with Mayor Segura that, you know, these are things that we can address. That particular area, the Rivertown area, we deal with the Oktoberfest, we deal with the Italian Festival, we deal with the ambiance of people coming out there, walking on the levee, because it's a nice place to come to. So these are all challenges that we have to deal with, and we do deal with it. The one that we're faced with now from the residents, and because I do live there, everybody know me, and I know everybody in that area from Mr. Wilma and Mr. Ben, to my sister that lives right next door, to Mr. William and Vanessa, all the way across the track to Miss Mancuso. And I want you to know Miss Mancuso will call me on a regular basis as it relates to the traffic. And this is the issue that we're dealing with, the traffic issue. I spoke to Mayor Segura. We're going to have a traffic study done to ensure that we maybe could be doing something better to alleviate some of the traffic jams in the morning for about 20 minutes and in the evening for about 20 minutes. I've spoken to both sets of principals at the science school and at our related perpetual help. They understand, they're willing to help. The meeting that I will be setting up with the chief, with Mr. Pettit and Code, myself, and maybe someone for Public Works, just to be able to address some things like crossing guards, like signage that we can put up to initially address it until we get the report back from the traffic study. Because once we get that, then we'll be able to move forward to alleviate it. This group will be there for at least a year or two, and we have to be able to be something conducive to the people that live there so they are comfortable. You know, the people there are welcoming, we welcome them in. They only expect people to be respectful of their area, of their properties, not to litter, not to speed. And I think for the most part, no one has done that, but there have been some occasions that has happened. So we have to address this right now because it will be a 2-year tenure that they will be there. So we look forward to addressing this. And I just want to assure everyone from the priest to everyone else that live in that area that we will be addressing this. And it will be a good partnership with the school, with both schools and the people that live there. So anybody have any ideas, any so-called traffic experts or whatever, please send it to my office besides the professionals, and we will be able to look at that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilman Klein, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to give everyone an update on the Esplanade Mall. The mall is now under new management. That's good news. We're encouraged by the new management. It's Pacific Realty Group. They're very successful in revitalizing malls. That's what they'll do at the Esplanade Mall. We look forward to having some new retail stores, some restaurants and other businesses in and around the mall. The administration's been working hard with them. The other council members and myself have been working hard with them. We'll continue to meet with them, and we look forward to progress at the Esplanade Mall. It's been a while in coming. This new management team seems to be much more cooperative than the last managers, and we look forward to new retail stores and other businesses around the mall and in the mall. So I wanted everyone to know that. It was on my Facebook before, and we worked hard to make this come about.
And I'd like to, Chief Helmers, I'd also like to commend you guys for handling the tragedy in District 5 that was, I believe, between the last council meeting and this one. Although unfortunately, Ms. Stevens did not make it through the fire, your prompt attention to the issue prevented any further damage from any of the neighboring houses. And anyone that knows University City knows the houses are, very, very close to one another. So the risk of collateral damage to houses all around it is dramatic, to say the least. And your guys were Johnny on the spot and saved a lot of, unfortunately she's gone, but saved a lot of lives that day. So on behalf of District 5, thank you guys for what you did. So, and the last thing, I want to take a liberty for a few minutes. I would apologize for taking time, but I'm not that sorry about it. You know, there was some joking earlier in the proclamation session, and I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the recipient of that proclamation, because next, I think, Mr. Quigley, I probably have known him probably longer than anyone in the room. When I was 12 years old, I had the privilege of meeting Coach Jose Gonzalez. I then was able, starting at age 16, to spend 15 years of my life coaching baseball with Coach Jose, which is the time when I became a man and a father and a husband. And I learned more from that man on the kind of dad and husband I wanted to be than you can imagine. And then I decided to run for city government and be a politician, I guess, or an elected official. And I will disclose something that probably no elected official in history will acknowledge, is that we come to the table with a tremendous amount of ideas, but frankly don't know how in the hell to get them done. And you hope and pray that you have people who are willing to walk you through that and teach you what it takes to actually make your ideas happen. And I had the privilege of having him tutor me and teach me. And I call him Coach Jose not because we spent years and days and months in baseball fields all across the country, but because he has coached me through this process the last 2.5 years. And if I get credit for the good things that we've done in District 5, every single one of those things the last 2.5 years has got his fingerprints all over it. And I'm very, it hurts me to see you go, but thank you for everything you've done for me and for the people that I represent. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. You have succeeded in making me shed some tears.
Madam Clerk?
Okay. Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business or motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons to address the council.
Mr. Morella?
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 44 years. First, I want to extend my condolences and my prayers to the Davis family. Patricia Davis, who used to attend the council meetings and was a former president of the Lincoln Manor Civic Association. Her sister passed away today. Touching on what Councilman Klein said about the mall, several months ago, I had heard out on the street that the mall was for sale. I brought it to this podium, and I asked the council if they heard anything, and the council at that time advised they didn't hear anything. But to tell this council now, I knew, along with several other citizens in our city, that that mall had been for sale for quite some time. Now, I hope that the new owners are committed to turning that mall around and making it viable instead of continuing to run it in the ground and use it for tax breaks like the previous owners did. And when y'all meet with these people, I would like you to find out what are the rents based on? Take a look at their formula and see what they basing the rents on in those spaces. The businesses I've been talking to now for quite some time, that's the number one issue. It is not profitable for them to do business in there because of the exorbitant rents they're being charged. Now, on August the 28th, there was an article in the Times-Picayune, and it talked about how home prices in our city have dropped 7.3%. Now, the way I see it, fair market value rents are based on property values. And if I'm wrong, anybody can correct me. So I've seen property values dip in this city. Home prices, like I said, article just recently, 7.3%. We need to find out what they basing those rents on in that mall. Some of those businesses are telling me they're paying $5,000, $6,000 a month for a space in that mall. Man, you got to be rolling over a lot of merchandise to crack that nut. Now, a question for Jose Gonzalez, since your last day is Friday. And I'd like to know what is the nature of the work going on at that new lift station that I thought was completed a couple of years ago on Chateau and Vintage. That work has been going on now for a few months, and I'd like to know the nature of that work. And if there's any additional cost to the taxpayers in the city of Kenner. And in closing, now this is a joke, Jose, but you must feel like a tennis ball being bounced back and forth from Kenner to the parish, from the parish back to Kenner, okay? Anyway, anybody got any comments, any questions for me? Thank you. I'll stay here, wait for the answer.
You yield the rest of your time, Mr. Morello?
Yes, I yield it to him.
And just so you know, I forgot to start it, so I gave you a little Christmas gift early.
That's okay, my friend.
Mr. Gonzalez, do you wish to explain?
Yes, Al. I can't respond to the tennis comment, but I can respond to the lift station at Meadow and Vintage. Yes, you are correct. Improvements to that station took place probably about 2 years ago. Okay, what you see out there is an auto control unit. We had some problems with the odor, and we had some complaints from the neighborhood. And as a result of those complaints, we decided to install an auto control unit.
Thank you.
Well, he didn't answer it completely.
Well,
Because I asked if there was
I think he
any
answered as best he could, Al.
any additional
Al.
cost to the taxpayers on that.
Al, I think he answers best he could. If you have any other questions, let's handle it after.
That's all.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, motion to adjourn.
Whereas, in order to better serve and further the quality of life in the city of Kenner, a workforce of professionals are employed to provide quality services to the citizens to ensure that Kenner is a great place to live, work, and play.
I like that word, play.
Play. I left out the visit because that's like you.
I noticed you emphasized
I see that,
play.
and I realized I left the visit just like you. You visited a while and now you're leaving us, so okay. You notice that?
Oh, I can imagine what the rest is going to read like.
With city departments requiring directors that go the extra mile, a hardworking, wait, am I reading the right one?
Probably not.
A hardworking and effective director in public works is not only desired, but is fundamental to maintaining, thereby improving Kenner's infrastructure. Was that for you?
I know Christine didn't write that.
Okay.
I can tell you she didn't write that. It would be something totally different.
Okay. I'm just making sure I got the right one here. The skilled executive that has filled this position from 2010 to 2016 has been Jose Gonzalez. Over the past 6 years, Jose has been responsible for the maintenance and improvement of the city's infrastructure pertaining to streets, drainage, parkways, street lights, traffic signals, fleet in various city properties. And that's 24 hours a day, because Ms. Frances tells me she gets you every afternoon at 5 o'clock to go out there and help her. So I assure you, you probably don't spend much time home. Okay, just making sure that you are out there whenever needed. With a team of approximately 72 employees, he has been in charge of the day-to-day operations as well as supervising 7 divisions, in addition to overseeing the operation of the sewer system by Veolia Water. Whereas, due to his diligence, the city will reap the benefit of about $185 million in state and federal grants secured for crucial infrastructure, related projects, and capital projects, all requiring in-depth review of plans and specifications with detailed record keeping. Due to the perseverance, Kenner's qualified for the Path to Progress, a program 100% funded with federal emergency relief funds to the tune of nearly $20 million in roadway improvements, earning Jose special recognition for this major endeavor. With kudos to this efficient staff, and you did say they were efficient, right?
Absolutely.
You got
More
that?
than efficient.
Make sure, girls, I wanted him to say that.
It's on the record.
Updating the administration through a daily deluge of information emails that go on and on and on. From maintaining city from maintaining city properties to orchestrating beautified areas over 100 acres of medians and landscapes, not to mention preparing annual operating capital budgets or keeping up 225 miles of streets while maintaining subsurface drainage within the cities to minimize and eliminate street flooding. Haven't completed that yet, but we're still working on it. Whereas the man has been admired for his institutional knowledge as a professional engineer, valued for his expertise, as enjoyed by his friendship. On September 16th, Jose will depart as Kenner's Director of Public Works to rejoin Jefferson Parish workforce, his new old job. His proficiency and commitment to the city will definitely be missed. On behalf of all of those who have had the pleasure, and this will be the end, we will not have it anymore, of getting to know him and working with him, the city hereby extends deep appreciation for his public service and wishes him the very best in his future endeavor. Now, therefore, I, Michael G. Segura, by the authority vested in me as acting mayor of Kenner with the Kenner City Council, do hereby recognize 6 years of outstanding public service, Jose Gonzalez, the PE. Physical education?
Yeah, did well.
Okay.
Coach Dominic can testify to that.
Director of Public Works, given by this seal and so much. So again, we miss you. We'll miss you. We enjoyed your service. You were great for the city. And now I'm going to let you speak. But before, Marie, I need you to come translate.
Come on up, Maria. Come on, Maria. Come on, sit over here. I got a stool here for you. No, thank. Was that Gene? I said apparently he's mixed you up with his predecessor. Right. No, I'd like to thank you all for the kind words. I'm sure you all had an input on this proclamation. I must say it has been, a wonderful 6 years. Okay, very rewarding both professionally and personally. I must admit, I enjoyed all 6 years. I was able to, very glad that I was able to improve Kenner's infrastructure, but I haven't done this alone. I have done this with a very capable staff, some of which are sitting over here. I'm not going to name names because if I leave someone out, they may get offended. But no, it's been a good experience, and I appreciate everything that Kenner has done for me. And I will continue to help Kenner in any way I can from the Jefferson Parish office. Thank you all.
I've been asked to ensure that you open this right now, but I'm going to stand over here. I don't know what might happen.
Oh, this is Lola. I can tell you that this is Lola. Thank you, Lola. Thank you all. And my raft, don't forget my raft.